Hi everyone, it's Tim Topham here, and in today's video I want to teach you the 3 most common pop song chord progressions that every student and piano teacher should know about. Pop song progressions are really common in music and they keep coming up all the time. So if you want to give your students a great introduction to modern music and the way they're constructed, then giving them these 3 chord progressions and working with them at the piano on these progressions can be a great learning experience and something that will really motivate them to practice and play some more. So let's work in the key of C major, and the first chord progression is the one that was actually made famous by these guys, who are called the Axis of Awesome. Now, if you haven't seen their clip, we'll put a link to it below in the description. It's a fantastic comedy clip of them going through just how many songs use this particular chord progression. There are hundreds. So here's how it goes. We're going to play a C chord, and then a G, followed by A minor, and then an F chord. Now, even students who have just started learning piano, as long as they have the capability of being able to play triads in one hand, should be able to play this chord progression within a couple of weeks and be able to move around the piano and keep a steady beat. So let's now add some rhythm, and I'm just going to play and hold the left hand, single note, bass note, and right hand triad, repeating 4 quarter note beats. So it's going to sound like this. So that, as soon as students hear that, their eyes tend to light up and they suddenly realize that they're playing pop music, because that's the basis of so many songs. So if you do it, if we cut down the number of repetitions to just 2 beats per chord, you can probably hear, when I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, or I come from a land down under, for those Aussies in the room, where women go, or forever young, I want to be forever young, or no woman, no cry, no woman, no cry. You get the idea. Like, there are so many songs that use these progressions. So I think it's one of the most important progressions that every student, and therefore every piano teacher, should be able to sit down and know instantly, preferably in a few different keys. So I'm playing in C major at the moment. And for students who are learning this for the first time, just stick to root position chords. I know it means that they're moving around a lot on the piano, but you can check out some of my other videos about how you can introduce inversions. So obviously for a piano teacher or someone who's been playing piano for a little while, you wouldn't want to be jumping from here down to here. You might want to be using an inversion of the G chord like this. And then A minor, and then F, and maybe starting with the C chord here. There's lots of different ways that you can achieve this chord progression, but that's number 1 most important chord song progression. So we would call it the 1, 5, 6, 4 progression in whatever key you're working in, and those numbers are just related to the key notes of the scale, or the scale degrees. So in the key of C, C is 1, D is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this chord progression is built on the 1st note of the scale, the 5th note of the scale, the 6th, and the 4, and we just build triads on those notes. Again, lots more information on my website about how you can go about teaching chords and these different ways of naming chords and chord progressions too. So that's chord progression number 1. Now, chord progression number 2, I call the 50s progression. And it goes like this. We're going to start on C, and then we're going to go down to A minor, then down to F, and then up to G. And this was really common. I immediately think of Grease when I put this into a 12/8 feel, or a triple feel. So like this. Beauty school dropout. In fact, I think in Greece they also use Blue Moon. But those the dances that they were doing in the high school, I think. So there you go. What else? Heart and Soul. Stand By Me uses this as well. I can't sing it at the moment, not sure why. I think probably because I've got Grease still in my head. Do you know this one? Hep, 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 na 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 na, hep, hep, ba na 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 na, hep, hep, da 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 da. Run Around Sue, of course. So another really great chord progression, and one that students all over the world, in every studio, any piano student or pianist should know how to play that progression. And kids love playing this. And you can mix it up and then the second time do this. A little substitution there. So this is great. You know, anytime you can get students playing that chord progression, fantastic. They will have an absolute ball. All right, so I call that one the 50s progression. Its numbers are 1, 6, 4, 5. So the 1 chord. Now we're going downwards. If you have a look on the keyboard here, down to number 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then down to 4, and then up to 5. You could just as easily play it here, but then you've got this massive jump, haven't you? So that's why I tend to work downwards from middle C. And also, if you haven't seen my other videos about playing chords and teaching students about how to play in a pop style, then just try and keep your right hand chords around middle C or a little bit lower preferably. It's the richest, warmest part of the piano, and it also, if you're then accompanying yourself or your student or another instrument, a lot of the time those instruments will be in the upper registers of the piano, so it means you're not kind of conflicting. If you play all the chords up here, and that might sound really good, of course, for part of the song, but if you've then got a singer who's singing in this range, it tends to get a little bit muddied. So I like to stick down here. All right, so that was pop song chord progression number 2. Number 3 was one that I very much grew up with. It's all about the 90s. It's actually a really modern sounding progression. And this is how it goes. It actually doesn't start on the tonic. It does not start on C. This one starts on the 6th. So we're going to go 6, 4, and then 1, and then 5. So I'm playing an A minor chord, an F major chord, C chord, and it finishing with the G chord to bring us back to the A minor. Well, this is a little bit more unusual in that it, as I said before, it doesn't start on the C chord. Most chord progressions in pop music tend to start on the keynote of the key that the song is written in. So if it's written in D major, the first chord will probably be a D. This one is not the case. So let's just go through that one more time. We've got A minor, F, and we've got C, and we've got G. Now this is one that works really well when students can start to use some chord inversions because you start to hear a little melody here. Let me bring this out. Back to the A minor to finish. So you can hear that little melody that starts to make a little bit more sense when you use inversions in the right hand there. And what I would recommend students do, this can sound great just using root position chords, but it's a great one to introduce inversions because of how good that actually sounds. A lot of students will instantly hear Coldplay in that kind of a rhythmic pattern as well. And by the way, if you want to teach your students a cool rhythm that they can use rather than just straight 4 chords, then try 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. It's what Coldplay used in. Another really great chord progression to teach your students, by the way. So back to that one. 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Anyway, you can have lots of fun with these chord progressions. But hopefully that gives you a quick overview of the 3 most common chord progressions that pianists will be expected to play and that form the basis of so many pieces of music. If students can get this into their head and get it really ingrained to be able to play them at any moment, it's obviously a great skill if they're ever going to be playing with their friends in a band, but they will also be able to pick up these chord progressions when they start hearing it in music, and that forms fantastic connections between the music you might be teaching them in their piano lessons and the music they're listening to on the radio. So I do hope that was a helpful video for you. If you've got any questions at all about those 3 progressions or any of the other pop progressions that come up quite commonly, leave a comment below. In fact, if you think I haven't got the right 3 pop song progressions and I've missed one out, or one of them isn't the most important or most popular out of those 3, then tell me below. Let me know what the chord progression is that you think I should have used. And if you've got any questions at all or any suggestions for future teaching videos, then please let me know just below. Hang on a sec, just before you go, if you haven't yet subscribed to this channel on YouTube, then please click the link below, and you can also check out one of my other popular videos over here. And if you're a music teacher looking for help modernizing your teaching and growing your studio business, then just check out the link up the top here for information about how you could benefit